Hep, hep, hep! Kilala niyo na ba ako? Well, let me introduce myself first. Hindi ako anak ni Gabi, at hindi rin ako anak ni Shawi, pero ako si Casey. Hindi rin ako yung asawa ni TJ Monterde. Hindi nga ako pinipili palagi eh. Dahil, hindi naman ako si Casey Tandingan. Pero, ako si Casey Kambingan. Dahil mahilig ako sa papaitan. Eto na, magpapakilala na talaga ako. My name is Maria Cassandra Camille de la Cruz, but call me Casey for short. Taga Quezon ako, 21 years old ako, takot ako mag-commit, pero, of course, committed ako mag-report. So, let's begin. Okay, so, good day everyone. I am Maria Cassandra Camille de la Cruz. So, the next topic is the checklist. How does your assessment measure up? So, as a teacher, how does your assessment measure up? So, sa pagbibigay ng assessment, dapat, hindi lang naman dapat tayo nagkakaroon ng checklist sa pagbili ng mga grocery, di ba? Or sa pag-accomplish ng mga schoolwork. So, dapat isaalang-alang din natin ang pagkakaroon ng checklist kung tayo ay isang ganap ng guro sa pagbibigay ng assessment. Kasi dahil dito, makakasigurado tayo na yung assessment na ginagawa natin is effective but at the same time meaningful. So, simulan na natin. The following is a quick way to check the quality of your approach to assessment, summarized from Assessment in Art Education by Donna K. Beatty. So, itong mga pag-uusapan natin ngayong araw is galing siya sa Assessment in Art Education na isinulat ni Donna K. Beatty. So, ito yung ibinigyan niyang point or focus. So, ang una sa listahan is it student-oriented and teacher-directed? Beatty advocates for assessments that balance the needs and perspectives of both students and teachers, ensuring that evaluation processes are meaningful and supportive of student learning. So, bakit nga ba mahalaga na dapat ang assessment is student-oriented at the same time teacher-directed? Kasi kung ang assessment ay nakafocus lang sa iisang aspect, for example, which is teacher-directed, so as a teacher, of course, we have the power to give an assessment for them. But we should also look in or use the student-oriented type of assessment because it will help us to assess the students better because we are aiming to assess what they can do and their capability and ability. So that's why it should come all together. So the next one is, does it support instructions and learning objectives? Assessment methods should align with instructional goals and help students progress toward learning objectives in art education. So, napakahalaga na yung assessment method natin is mayroong alignment sa instruction and learning objectives na mayroon tayo. Kasi mahirap magpa-assess kung yung ginagawa nating assessment is ala namang connection sa gusto nating ma-attain. So, for example, ang nasa learning objective natin is to let the children draw, to see the creativity in them. Tapos yung pina-assess natin is nagpa-identification tayo. So, match ba yun? 'Di ba hindi naman sila nagma-match. So, dapat dito, sinasabi nga dito sa pangalawang checklist na dapat sinusuportahan ng assessment natin yung instruction and learning objectives para meron silang alignment. And the next one is, have the criteria for assessment been made clear to all participants? So, BD emphasizes the importance of clearly defining assessments criteria to all participants, ensuring transparency and fairness in evaluation processes. So, dapat sa ating assessment is, of course, may mga instances na magbibigay tayo ng assessment na kung saan kinakailangan nating gumawa ng criteria. So, para saan nga ba yung mga criteria? So, yung criteria is para malaman din ng mga estudyante na kung saan dapat sila dapat focus kung saan yung dapat nilang bigyan ng pansin kapag sila ay gumawa ng isang work project. So, we have two types of criteria. The first one is analytic and the second one is holistic criteria, in which analytic criteria is used for detailed examination, while holistic criteria provides a broader perspective. So, yun lang, sinasabi dito na dapat nga kapag tayo ay gagawa ng assessment, is magse-set tayo ng criteria para alam din natin as a teacher kung ano ba yung gusto nating ma-excel ng mga bata or yung kung saan sila dapat mas mag-focus. Dahil sa pagkakaroon ng criteria, makakatulong ito para sa atin na mas ma-assess ng maayos yung mga artworks nila or yung mga outputs nila. The next one is it based on the art's expectations? Assessments should be rooted in the expectations and standards of arts education, providing a framework for evaluating students' artistic skills and understanding. So, kaya nga sinabi ko kanina, dapat there is an alignment. Okay? So, dapat yung assessment natin is naka-base sa kung ano ba yung ina-expect ng curriculum or kung ano ba yung naka-stated sa curriculum in arts education. So, dapat kapag gagawa tayo ng assessment, titignan natin or isa sa alang-alang natin kung ano ba yung ina-expect ng curriculum natin na maituro natin sa mga bata or yung kung paano natin sila ma-assess. Next one is it ongoing? PT suggests that assessments should be continuous and ongoing, allowing for regular feedback and opportunities for students to demonstrate growth over time. So, paano nga ba natin masasabi na ongoing yung assessment or ongoing yung isang bagay? 'Di ba? Masasabi natin itong ongoing kung ito ba ay hindi lang nagtatapos sa isang tanong. In order for it to be an ongoing, it should have a follow-ups, questions, or works. Okay, kagaya ng pagbibigay natin ng feedback. Dahil sa pagbibigay natin ng feedback, binibigyan din natin ng oportunidad yung mga bata na i-improve or magkaroon sila ng growth sa paggawa nila ng mga schoolwork. Dahil kapag hindi natin sinabi yung mga feedback na kailangan nilang marinig, is may tendency na patuloy pa rin nilang gagawin yung bagay na yon na sa halip ay nabigyan natin ng komento nang sa gayon ay mas na-improve nila, di ba? So, next one is, does it include balance of formal and informal strategies? Assessment methods should include both formal evaluations and informal observations to provide a comprehensive understanding of students' artistic abilities. So, sa pagkasagawa ng assessment, dapat there is a balance between formal and informal strategies. So, formal assessment provide concrete data for measuring specific learning outcomes and meeting curriculum standards. So, ang halimbawa ng ito ay rubrics, tests, and evaluations. So, on the other hand, informal assessments capture the nuances of students' creative processes, problem-solving skills, and artistic expression. So, halimbawa nito ay ang observations, discussions, and peer interaction. So, dapat kapag mag-a-assess tayo, merong balance sa dalawang ito. So, the next one is, does it focus on product and process? Assessment should consider both the final product of students' artwork and their creative processes, acknowledging the importance of both outcomes and the journey of artistic exploration. So, kapag tayo ay nagpagawa ng isang activity sa mga bata, we should not just focus on their work, but we should also acknowledge their experiences while doing it. Okay? So, dahil mahalaga din naman para sa kanila na malaman or na ma-acknowledge ng teacher yung journey na pinaghirapan nila para lang makapag-produce ng isang magandang artwork. Okay? So, tandaan na dapat Hindi lang dapat nakafocus sa product but also sa proseso din na ginawa ng bata. Next one is, does it provide opportunities for students to revise or change their work? BT encourages assessment practices that allow students to revise and refine their work based on feedback, supporting iterative learning processes. So, napakahalaga sa assessment na dapat bigyan natin ng pagkakataon yung mga bata na i-revise or baguhin yung kanilang work sa pamamagitan ng mga recommendations, suggestions, or feedbacks na narinig nila mula sa atin. Nang sa gayon, it will help them to produce a better artwork. Next one is it responsive to different types of knowledge? Assessment should recognize and value diverse forms of artistic expression and understanding, accommodating varying learning styles and perspectives. So, aware naman tayo sa theory ni Howard Gardner about multiple intelligences na kung saan sinasabi roon na ang mga bata ay hindi lamang nagko-consist ng isang intelligence, di ba? There are 8 intelligences. So, dapat kapag tayo ay gagawa ng assessment, i-consider natin yung ibang aspect, hindi lang sa pagpo-focus sa isang aspect na kung saan maraming na kung saan yung aspect na yun is mas maraming nakakapag-excel. Importante din na dapat pagtuunan din natin ng pansin yung ibang area ng intelligence na mayroon yung mga bata. Next is does it respond to expanded notions of intelligence and creativity? Assessment should embrace broader definitions of intelligence and creativity, acknowledging the multidimensional nature of artistic abilities. So gaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina, as a teacher, dapat maging aware tayo kung saan ba dapat magaling yung mga estudyante natin. Para kapag nagbigay tayo ng assessment sa kanila, hindi lang nakafocus sa isang aspect. So for example, may mga estudyante kasi na magaling sa music, tapos may mga estudyante rin namang magaling sa more on body movements like dancing. So, dapat mahalaga na i-consider nga natin yung other aspects of intelligence para naman makater natin yung mga intelligences na meron sila at kung ano man yung mga dapat nilang gawin. Kasi as a teacher, we should let them to discover and explore their own intelligence. So, para natin magagawa yun kung lilimit natin sila sa iisang assessment lamang na kung saan hindi naman na-measure yung talagang kaya nilang gawin. So, dapat mahalaga na maibigay natin yung assessment na malalaman natin na kaya pala nilang gawin yun. Diba? So, the next one is, does it take into account students' pre-assessment information? Understanding students' prior knowledge, skills, and experiences in art can inform instructional planning and help tailor assessments to meet individual needs. So, sinasabi lang dito na mahalaga yung pre-assessment na ikakandak natin para sa ganun magkaroon tayo ng idea sa mga estudyante natin kung saan ba sila magaling. Kasi hindi natin maibibigay yung mga assessment and learning materials na kailangan talaga nila kung hindi naman tayo aware sa kung saan ba sila interesado. Katulad ng halimbawa, kung interesado ba sila sa pagpe-paint, pagdo-drawing, or pagkanta, pagsayaw, 'di ba? Kapag na-assess natin yung mga kailangan nila or yung mga kaya nilang gawin, mas maibibigay natin yung mga discussions, yung mga materials na mas makakatulong pa sa kanila. So, next one is it equitable for all participants? Assessment practices should be fair and equitable for all participants, taking into account students' diverse backgrounds, experiences, and abilities. So, dapat kapag nagbigay tayo ng assessment sa mga bata, lagi nating iisipin na dapat we should be fair and be equitable. Kasi kapagka nag-focus lang tayo sa mga estudyante na kayang gawin yung halimbawa yung pagpe-paint, paano naman yung mga estudyante na hindi kayang mag-paint, 'di ba? So, dapat kapagka nagbigay tayo ng assessment is magbe-benefit yung lahat ng estudyante natin para ma-assess natin kung sila ba ay nag-excel o hindi. So, siyempre, i-consider din natin yung kanilang diverse backgrounds, experiences, and abilities. Next one is, does it responsive to collaborative and cooperative learning? Beatty suggests that assessment should recognize and support collaborative and cooperative learning experiences in the arts, fostering peer interaction and shared creative exploration. Okay, so sa pagbibigay ng assessment, of course, meron tayong mga individual assessments. Pero at the same time, dapat magkaroon din tayo ng mga collaborative assessments na kung saan the students will be able to participate or to collaborate with other with their classmates. Kasi sa pamamagitan noon, magkakaroon sila ng interaction. At sa interaction na yon is makakapag-generate sila ng better ideas na makakatulong sa kanila pareho. So, syempre kapag ka sila ay nag-team up, of course, ma-expect natin na sila ay magkakaroon ng better output. At the same time, sila pa ay nagkakaroon ng magandang relasyon sa kanilang mga kaklase. Next one is, does it measure students' individual growth? Assessment should focus on measuring individual student growth and progress rather than comparing students to each other, emphasizing personal development and improvement. So, gaya nga ng aware naman tayo na hindi naman lahat ng estudyante is magkakapareho, 'di ba? Meron silang kanya-kanyang talino at kakayahan. So, dapat as a teacher, we should not compare them to their classmates, but instead, we should focus on their growth na dapat nilang ma-attain and malaman at the same time para alam nila kung saan sila mas mag-i-improve pa at mas bibigyan pa nilang pansin yung aspect na yon. 'Di ba? So, kasi ang goal ng assessment is para magkaroon ng development and improvement yung mga bata. So, next one, are the assessment tools easily understood and well ordered? Assessment tools should be easily understood and well organized, facilitating effective evaluation and feedback processes for both students and teachers. So, dapat as a teacher, gumagamit tayo ng mga assessment tools na kung saan mailalagay talaga natin yung mga dapat nating ma-assess at yung result ng assessment nila para nang sa gayon, kapag binalikan natin yon is meron tayong basis at para na rin makatulong sa atin sa pag-a-assess ng mga bata. So, yun lamang. Thank you!